Welcome back, my plebsters, to the Crypto Plebs channel. It's your boy, Jumpman Crypto. Your boy's back from Colorado. Thank God. We went to go visit my son. He got married with his wife. Now it's time to get back to work. We have a lot of stuff that's been going down over the weekend with this whole Moody's degrade of the credit here in the US. We've had one prior in 2023, which the market sold off in around 20 days, about 11 to 12%. And, will we see the exact same thing that happens this time around, guys? We don't know. In my personal opinion, I don't think so. But it's always great to have, charts pulled up and look at previous data. That way you're prepared and ready for whatever happens. Remember, guys, in this space, you want to make sure that you're properly prepared and expect the unexpected. That way, whenever price does come down, you're ready. You have your buy alerts and your sell alerts, whatever you choose that you want to do, and just make sure that you're set up for success, guys. And I just always want to remind everybody, guys, look, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just another guy on YouTube with an opinion. So, just make sure that you guys are always making sure you take your own due diligence and making sure that you guys are using proper risk management for your trades. And just be careful who you take advice from, guys. There's a lot of individuals that, post setups, and they try to post leverage trades and stuff like that. And these guys don't come out with any TA, any type of knowledge, guys. There's a lot of dishonest people in this space. So just make sure that you're always, involved with the right type of people. You want to be involved with people that are active all the time, guys. You don't want to be messing around with people that go on hiatuses for 2 or 3 months, and they use you guys as just as a personal piggy bank. You want to look for people that are reputable and have a good track record, guys, and people that are here in the good and the bad. So with all that being said, guys, look, let's check out these charts and let's see what's going down. Look, back in 2023, guys, August 1st, it was announced that Finch delisted us, the same, pretty much how it's happened today with Moody's, and the price within 9 days started to pull down to the downside. Remember, crypto always front runs the stock market. I think the stock market took about 28 days to see that 11% pullback. Some of the markets went down, 1, 2, 3%, and it was just a gradual bleed down all the way through. Will we see the exact same thing? We're not sure. This pullback here from Bitcoin was about 15%. So will we see something like that? I'm not sure, but it's most definitely, wise to start keeping some eyes on this, and, making sure that we are prepared for that if we do see a leg down like that. So a 15% pullback for Bitcoin would be about around the 90K zone. We do have a lot of support at 96K. We do have a lot of support at 92K. Those are the prior CME gaps, and we do have a lot of support at this 100K area. So, will we go down 15%? Look, I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. I'm going to say, hey, look, I believe that Bitcoin probably could come down to this 101K, hopefully show some support there. Altcoins, they'll probably go down 90%, if Bitcoin goes down, $50. You know how this stuff goes, guys, with these altcoins. And I'm just kidding, guys. But Ethereum, same thing, guys. Around this time, it had the exact same type of pullback. 16 days from that day, it had a pretty significant pullback as well. Let's get a accurate. Same thing, about 20% pullback. And pretty much the same thing, guys. So, with Ethereum, we've been talking a lot in the Discord, guys. Where I believe the support for ETH is going to be at is probably around 2350 to 2220, 3220. I'm sorry. If you guys are looking for leverage trades, I most definitely would be looking for somewhere around here in this area. Uh, Probably right here. See how we had this nice touch right here? We called this out in the Discord a few days ago, but as you see right here, we got that touchdown bounce up from there. I do think that we will try to revisit this again. Usually these wells, when they see these little long tail wicks like that, they like to come after them again. So, if you guys are looking for a setup trade, you can probably set yourself up there like that. And if you guys want to maybe a softer trade or an easier trade setup, maybe you could set an entry maybe at the 2200 setup, and making sure that you guys are protected with the right amount of leverage. Don't be using no 50x leverage, guys. I think the time to do that is not, appropriate. Uh, guys, the time to do that was probably later on, back in when the bull market before it kicked off. Now you want to try to put yourself in a defense strategy, making sure that you are making the right trades. Anything over 10, really, in my opinion, anything over 7x leverage is very risky. We do have some chart patterns of head and shoulders on ETH. ETH is super bearish, but will it go down to this 1800 zone? Possibly, but I'm banking, that we come down to this 2300, maybe possibly 22, and assess it from there. Another coin, guys, that I'm bullish on, but there's been unfortunately some bearish chart patterns, is going to be Morpho. Morpho again, head and shoulders pattern. I have some buy orders set up here at 140 to 130. This is going to be my buy areas right here for Morpho. Guys, if you're not, researching these crypto coins and making sure you're staying laced up on what these things do, on Coinbase, Morpho is the lending app that they use to borrow against your Bitcoin on Coinbase. So you're using the protocol there. And, guys, if this is like another Aave, if Aave goes into the billions, like how Aave did, you're looking at a nice 10x, maybe even 15x. Right now we'll cross that bridge when we get there, guys. I'm just simply looking again, to see if we can try to get back to this all-time high. Could we go higher to the $4 and $10 zone? Hey, I wouldn't be mad. I most definitely would welcome that. But first things first, we just got to see, us get back to this old high and clear some of this old resistance areas, and then we can go from there. Next one, Parcels. I know a lot of my group and even some of the KGU family, I've been really pushing this out here, guys. The ones that are buying out here on this low at the 4 cents, lower 5, you guys have made some nice money. Same thing, double top. We're taking some profits and stuff like that. I know a lot of the people that, are, taking profits and making sure that you're doing what you got to do. You got that nice dip. Shout out to my boy CW. I know he sold the top, man. That dude's a G. Shout out to him. But your DCA area is going to be 1186 to 1120. There's support at the 1086. The demand zones at 1060 to 1020. Could we come down here to this 7 cents, where this indicator is giving out a flash warning? I don't think so, guys. If we do, then your boy's going to be going hard in the paint at this 7 cent area, and I suggest that you guys do too. We got a Binance listing, and a lot of other exchanges are opening up to Parcels. I've been trying to push this coin out to other communities and stuff like that, and you got these softies that they don't want to take any risk and they want to fade Parcels. But look, guys, you can clip this and we can revisit this in a couple months. I can guarantee you this bad boy would be at 30 cents by summertime. And if I'm lying, then we can come back to this and we can most definitely talk about it in the comment sections. But please do not sleep on Parcels. This is a Coinbase play. This is a community play. We've been bullish on this coin since 30 cents, and we love it now at 10 cents, 12 cents. It doesn't matter. Don't be a softy, man. Don't fade this coin. It's going to do great. And let's see what happens. The next coin is going to be Say. Say has some actually bullish indicators, a couple of them, falling wedge, and then we have inverse head and shoulders. Look, guys, this is another World Liberty Fi token. RSI is on the lower end, 30. Right now in the short time frame, we could push up to this 30 cent zone. But like I said, guys, I'm interested in this 75 cents to $1 zone. Could it go higher? Of course, but I'm looking to get these quick 2-3x's real quick, take some money out. We'll leave some runners. We'll see what happens. I'm not interested in getting these 50x's like a lot of these other YouTubers are talking about. We got to get what realistic price targets we can get in and get out. This market is very volatile. If you haven't seen like what's been happening over these last few days, guys, this market is not stable. till we get actually some regulations and maybe some groundwork where these cryptos can't just be pumped and dumped this way. This is going to be happening all through the year, probably until next. So it would be really interesting to see what the SEC can come up with, to stop some of this, selling pressure that's been happening with crypto, because it's kind of ridiculous, guys. You got Bitcoin at 105, 104K, and alts are just acting ridiculous, man. There's like, Bitcoin goes down literally $50, and alts start just bleeding out. It's not even a matter of understanding monetary policy. There's just absolutely no backbone in altcoins right now. So hopefully, this can get figured out. I know a lot of these crypto companies, they want to be looked at and taken seriously, but this kind of stuff kind of just raises a lot of eyebrows. And this is another reason why I say, guys, don't get married to your cryptos. This is something that it gets aggravating after a while. I know a lot of us in the Discord were talking about it today, and it's just it gets kind of irritating. I get it, but in the long term, though, guys, we're looking at higher price targets. So let's just not get too emotional about price action. Next coin is good old XRP. Y'all guys know what it is. Same thing, a few bearish indicators, head and shoulders. Price target 195. I'm not on board with that. Price target. I've talked to a lot of the people in the Discord. I've already said my piece on it. There's going to be a lot of people trapped up here. Could XRP still continue to go up? Of course, but there's so many people trapped up here. They want to get out. And, we have so much resistance on this coin that it's just going to be really hard for us to, clear this and get to these levels where, we want to actually make some money. So let's pull up this chart real quick. And let's just talk about it real quick. It's the same thing, guys. I feel like, broken record sometimes, but we use their Fibonacci retracement tool, take it from the swing high to swing low. I work with a lot of my guys on this to just let them know, hey, look, how to find basic support. Support's always going to be at the 382, which is around 230. Okay. And then we have more support down here at the 236, which is going to be 203. Okay. We have the resistance here at 271 and then $3. You guys already know, like I said, again, over and over and over, guys, I've talked about this many times. This is going to be problematic zones. We've cleared some of these areas, and I've talked about it in previous videos. We run the Fibonacci retracement tool in a smaller time frame. And, I call these out in the videos a bunch of times. If you guys were paying attention, I call these both out right here. And we call these both out right here. So we called out both rejections from here. So if you guys were taking shorts, you guys are most definitely printing on those. And, like I said, we do have that support here at 230. So we want to make sure that XRP is holding it. If we don't hold that support, guys, we can most definitely talk about 215. And then we're going to talk about that 194. Like I said, I know, shout out to Keenan. He has that buy order down here at that 160. If it comes down there, your boy's going to be selling some stuff and picking up there. But, right now, let's just focus on, the things that are more probable. Everybody has their own way of doing things, guys. There's a lot of ways to do it. Like I said, price can go anywhere. If we get some bad data or something comes out, and spooks the market, you better believe it. We can come down, 30% really easy in crypto, man. Bitcoin goes down to 80K. You can bet your ass we're going to come down here. So, there's always that possibility. So if you guys are concerned, losing capital and stuff like that, it's better just to set your entries here at these levels. Again, we'll go over it again. 215, 230, which I probably wouldn't do that one. I would go at maybe 215 and then 195. And focus on those. If you get picked up there, then ride it out. We'll see if we can get back up to this $3 and, we'll go from there. Another coin is going to be AVAX. Right now, AVAX is at the support line, getting ready to break below. I will probably send out an alert. We're probably going to short this, if it goes down, breaks low. I shorted this earlier today, and we also longed it as well today. So I had a pretty nice return off some of this today. It was a pretty interesting day trading off this volatility, but we had that double top. You want to set your buy orders anywhere between 2150 and 2046. If you guys are looking for a leverage trade, to catch up to the upside, you can take it off support, which would be about 2071, or we can go back at the previous bounce that we had here at 2158. Remember, guys, make sure you're using stop losses. Make sure you're taking proper risk management. I don't like to tell people how much leverage they should use. I think that at the end of the day, that's something that you have to do on your own. Like I said, I'll always give out recommended leverage to use, but it's on you to take it and just make sure that you guys are trading responsibly. And always, guys, remember, we trade with Femex here. If you guys are looking for that exchange to trade crypto or even buy it, other things that are not on Coinbase, the link will be below. And let's check out ETH real quick before we go. Yep, we're already starting to break below. Guys, I don't know if I said it earlier in the video, but if you guys are looking for a setup for ETH, I already have a open order in right now on Ethereum. I got it open at 2340. If you're a little scared and you want to make sure you're safe, you can take it at the previous 2320. Remember, use conservative leverage. You don't want to be going too crazy, especially right now with the markets, guys. I think Bitcoin actually might pull back down to this 102, 103 area. So we'll have to see what happens. But all right, guys, just wanted to get this video out to you guys. I know it's been a while. I'm glad to be back. I'm happy to be back in the community with my Discord and even the KGU family. We are working on, trying to get past this really annoying cycle, guys, and hopefully get you guys to make some money and get out of these markets with your with some cash. But guys, look, this is going to be not easy. I think everybody has already figured that out. Are we going to have more days like this to come? Of course. But we have to kind of just stay level-headed, keep our emotions out of all this, and just work together as a team, and we have a higher likelihood to make it out of here with some cash. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and kill the video off. You guys stay blessed. Leave me a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing, if I need to make some improvements or whatever it is that can help us be better as a team. I'm happy to take all that kind of criticism, guys. But until the next video, I'm out like a scout. Your boy Plebs to the moon.